Hello everybody, welcome back to Black Sheep, and today we'll be talking about the future of the global currency.
Okay guys, so let's move back into the past and see what happened. So how did this whole thing started? How did the Indian Rupee start to get a bit of traction, the Chinese Yuan, and how did this de-dollarization start? It all started back when Russians invaded Ukraine and they banned the usage of US dollar in Russia. It had a ripple effect on the economy, the global economy. We've seen it in the past and we're seeing it now itself. Ray Dalio was the first person to make point of it, how it was in the beginning, how the dollar starts to topple, just like the pound started to topple back in the day, and now the Indian Rupee is on its way to be in the global currency.
Alright guys, so what made all of these nations move away from the dollar? And the main reason for that is the cheap fuel that we get from Russia, and since the dollar was banned in Russia, they had to find another alternative to pay for this. And the alternative for this was the BRICS currency. BRICS currency is an alternative found for the fact that they simply can't pay US dollars, and BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. So this alliance decided that they needed to find a new currency to pay for these transactions. Already 18 countries are on board with this BRICS currency. It is a currency, now they are planning to make a currency which is backed with gold, so it doesn't inflate that much, and also this will be a turning point in geo-economic and geopolitical affairs in the future. Now we can already see the Indian Rupee and the Chinese Yuan being a global currency. Alright, it's a slow start, it's surely a slow start, but it's also the steady start, and you can see a lot of pros and cons if it actually becomes the global currency. The Indian Rupee's dominance has grown from 0.6% to 1.6%, and the Modi government's doing everything to make sure that the Indian Rupee is going global. They made sure that it goes global in 2019 by appointing that you can operate in Indian Rupees everywhere. They made this was a turning point in the Modi government, and the Ukraine conflicts. What it did was it accelerated this process. Now the Indian government is doing everything to improve its exports and strengthen the rupee. This might have pros and cons to it. It has pros and cons to like everything, and we'll see how it affects the US. How it affects the US if Indian Rupee or the Chinese Yuan actually becomes the global currency, and how it will affect countries like us, South Asian countries, developing countries as well. And also guys, the BRICS summit will take place in August, where they will decide the BRICS currency, which will ultimately replace the US dollar. So do you think the de-dollarization will happen? If it happens, it will take a major impact on the US economy, but also if the Chinese Yuan or the Indian Rupee becomes the global currency, it will have an adverse impact on the developing countries as well. So what do you think guys? Let us know in the comments whether you think the de-dollarization will happen, or the Indian Rupee or the Chinese Yuan will eventually become the global currency. Alright guys, so that's all we have for today. Make sure you join us through another video. See you soon.